Yep.
In the newspapers. And,
all right, I'll start. Daily Guide, I start with the Daily Guide. And on the front page, serial killer grabbed, attempts suicide. Mary Sheikh refunds Sputnik cash, which is a story we've been telling for a while now. And fixing Ghana, a shared effort, that's according to the chief. And 21st Clinic CEO on it. Let's get into the story. And I'll start with the serial killer grab story. So the 28-year-old man who brutally killed his wife at Degede, a suburb of Bibiani in the Bibiani and Yaso Bekwai district in the western region, in the western north region on August 5, before fleeing, has been arrested by the police. Emmanuel Otre Bafo is also on the radar of the police for the disappearance of a nursing student called Eva Boahema in November 2016 in Ofinso in the Ashanti region. Wow. 2016, and then there's another. The suspect was apprehended at the Forukrum, a suburb of Kumasi in the Ashanti region, upon a tip-off on Wednesday evening. The Bibiani and Wiaso Bekwai District Divisional Crime Officer Superintendent said someone who confirmed the arrest and said the suspect attempted to commit suicide by trying to drink a poisonous substance, but the police pounced on him to avert any trouble. So you see him on the front page with a certain bottle. I'd want to believe that that's whatever he was going to.
So they actually made him pose with the bottle for a picture?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Oh, that happens. Yeah, Ghana police. Okay. So yes, that's the story. But there's a whole lot more. It details, it gives you the background of the serial, why they say, the police is saying he's a serial killer. It talks about the Eva's disappearance, the nursing student who disappeared, and then there's a Facebook expose, a matrimonial home, wife's murder. There's a whole lot in there. And then Mary Sheikh refunds Sputnik cash. It's on page 3. The office of Sheikh Ahmed Damouk Al Maktoum, a member of the ruling family of Dubai, has repaid the $2.47 million meant for the supply of Sputnik V vaccine to the government of Ghana. So after the payment, there are those who are saying, in fact, Afenyo Marking, the deputy majority leader, he says, okay, so he's paid the cash and that's it.
No, it's
case
not.
closed.
No, it's
but
not.
there are many others who are saying, no.
Of course not. What if he hadn't? I mean, what if he hadn't? Then would it then not have been okay? Because the issue is really not whether he paid the cash or not. The issue is the due process and the diligence and all of that that needed to go into the making of the deal.
He lied to Parliament.
Exactly.
So that's according to the minority. But the majority, deputy majority leader said he didn't lie to Parliament. Anyway, but the minority is bent on making sure that they bring him before Parliament and get him sanctioned somehow. All right, and Shell pays $111 million over 1970s oil spill in Nigeria. Murder suspect stripped of seat in Brazil Congress, and Taliban take 10th provincial capital in a week.
Wow.
And so here's a story about fixing Ghana, shared effort. That's according to Chura Chief. So the chief of the Chura traditional area in the Sunyani West district of the Bono region, Nana Afariminta, has said that the only way the country can be fixed, as being demanded, is for every citizen to play his or her part in the development. Nana Minta expressed these sentiments on Wednesday when President Akufo-Addo called on him at his palace as part of his two-day tour of the Bono region. And remained steadfast behind the MPP government. Then in the center spread. Okay, so I'm just taking note that it's the Daily Guide takes care of the center spread.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, beautifully. They've left a margin in the middle.
Very nice.
Okay. So my daughter changed my life for better. That's actress and producer Yvonne Nelson. She has said, giving birth to a beautiful daughter, Rain, has made her find true purpose in life. That, she explained, involves channeling her energies into more productive ventures to put food on the table and not go about slaying and showing off in public. Okay.
That's an interesting one.
Okay, yeah. All right. So Ghana Music Welcome back 20 years of promoting strictly Ghanaian music. It features, it has a photo of Ni Abe Mensah. This is from Self-Medication as the chief executive of New Life Homeopathic Clinic.
Yeah, because self-medication is totally a thing, though, isn't it? I mean, we diagnose ourselves very, well, I don't know about you, but most Ghanaians diagnose themselves very quickly, you know, and prescribe very quickly. And then, you know, the thing about us is accessibility to drugs is not really an issue. So you know how in London or in the US, you cannot get antibiotics if it's not, you know, prescription and so many. And in Ghana, it's unfortunately it's relatively easy to get antibiotics. There are very few pharmacies that will insist on prescriptions. So so it seems like the easiest thing to do, doesn't it? But, you know, like he's saying, there are a lot of long-term implications of medicating yourself, you know. So.
Okay. So on page 9, Ebenezer Esenyi is new Greatco chief executive.
Okay.
So Greatco has a new chief executive. Medical school, teaching hospital for Sunyani, Ashesi lecturer holds youth leaders workshop. And then Chinese in critical condition after nightclub shooting. You want to hear the story. A 37-year-old Chinese man is battling for his life at the 37 military hospital in Accra after a shooting incident at KTV nightclub at Tema Community 6. The victim, identified as Zhu Rongsheng, sustained 3 gunshot wounds in his lower abdomen and then his right buttocks.
Oh.
Yeah. Buttocks.
Oh.
Yeah. The victim identified...
okay, though, isn't he? He's at the 37 military.
Well, they say he's battling for his life. The victim, identified as Zhu Rongsheng, sustained... he was reportedly shot by 2 Chinese, Luo Chuan-hee, alias Bullet, a 36-year-old nightclub operator, and Jiang Yonggong, alias, I guess, Omo, a 49-year-old mechanic. And the police in Tema have arrested Bullet.
Wait. Like these are Chinese who are running nightclubs and stuff, and
yeah,
Bullet and Omo.
Yeah. So you can get more on the story.
Wow.
From that. I mean, you know, to the extent that you're firing gunshots. Well.
Like, wow, I'm in shock, but okay.
Wild West. Police in land tussle at Fiankonya. Okay, so the people of Fiankonya, a village near Dodowa and Manfro, under the Great Ningo traditional area in the Greater Accra region, have accused some personnel of the Ghana Police Service of taking their lands. According to the people, who are mainly farmers, their sources of livelihood have been taken away by the police personnel. They said the cemeteries, shrines, and water bodies have also been destroyed as a result of the police personnel taking over their farmlands. And it has a photograph of the head of Tay Apiaka Beniana family, Numo Mensah Beniana, addressing the media. I'm sure the new IGP would want to look into that, because the police are supposed to be cooperating or friends of the public, but where you go to a community and they accuse you of taking their lands, that's not good. Okay, Kwema Heniches ADB board, Robert Skill security man at gas station, and I think I'll end at this point because...
you are about to break your own record for how long you've done a newspaper?
But let me just end with the back page of the Daily Guide. Chelsea re-signed Lukaku for £98 million. And now Toshi gets tennis post. Messi hits the ground running. Faces Strasbourg tomorrow. All right, you take it over.
Okay, so I'm going to do the finder this morning. ADB records over 400% growth in 2020. Dr. Dampare launches horse patrol operations. And yesterday I saw the policemen on horses around the Togo Embassy roundabout in the morning.
I saw them sometime last week, yes, in Osu, around Papaya. I'd gone to buy food from my rice joint in Osu. And then I had parked at the spots. They came to me. They looked around and they said, "Are you the one with the vehicle over there?" I said, "Yes." I said, "Please move it."
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Anyway, so you'll be seeing a lot more of them. I'll tell you about it when I get to page 5. But you'll be seeing a lot more of policemen on horses. It does feel kind of wild west, doesn't it?
Yeah.
1.7 billion Ghana cedis of SNIT loans advances impaired. Now, this represents 94.7% of all loans and advances, 442 million non-performing loans, and 70.8 million CD loans locked in 3 liquidated firms. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Fixing Ghana is a collective responsibility. Chief of Chura to Ghanaians. All right, well, let me just try and break this down a little bit. This SNIT story. So, an analysis of the quality of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust investments in loans and advances has revealed that 94.7% is impaired. Now, loans and advances of the trust amounted to 1.7 billion. Out of this amount, representing 94.7%, falls into stage 3 of International Financial Reporting Standards classification. This stage of the classification suggests that the loan's credit risk has increased to the point where credit is considered to be impaired. Now, this report is also saying that only 45.4 million Ghana cedis is not impaired, 26.8 million Ghana cedi losses to be written off, 442 million locked up in non-performing investments, 70.8 million invested in 3 liquidated firms, no return on 2 out of the 3 liquidated investments for 15 years, over $6 million invested in liquidated Ningo Salt Company Limit. I don't even want to continue because this doesn't sound good at all. And I'm sure that we'll be unpacking some of this for you perhaps next week, just so that you know where your money's going and all of that. But it doesn't really sound good. ADB records over 400% growth in 2020, and it's International Youth Day. Not sure exactly when, but there's a story about that. And this year, the theme is transforming food systems, youth innovation for human and planetary health. That is the theme for the celebration of International Youth Day. Now, there's also a feature on 9 stumbling blocks to success and prosperity in life and business. Number 1, the lack of a clear and concise vision, the lack of core values. Laziness is a sin and a curse. Failing to get sound counsel, your unwillingness to share with others, not asking God for what you want, failing to help your own family, an undisciplined life, and the making of excuses. Gosh, that's a lot, but there's 9 stumbling blocks. It's on page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The Finder doesn't number their pages. It's on page 7 of the Finder, if you're interested in that. Okay, let's do the middle. Oh, see? Finder also has the margins in the middle. Okay, yeah. They just number the middle pages, I think. But the Finder also has the margins. Okay. So there you are, nicely done. Fixing Ghana is a collective responsibility. President Akufo-Addo commissions Bono Region Fire Service. Okay, all these stories have been in the newspapers the whole week. NYA launches youth agri-enterprise support programs to drive interest in the agri sector among the youth. Africa must build new consensus for unity and development. Interesting story there. Dr. Dampare launches horse patrol operations. Exciting. Maybe they'll give us a horseback ride or something. Probably not. My last stories coming from the Finder. Some sports. Oh, God. So, yeah. Hearts of Oak to know opponents in prelims today. Government to transform center of the World Golf Club to host the PGA tournament. That's according to Deputy Tourism Minister. And Ghana Police CID set up team to investigate match-fixing scandal involving Ashanti Gold and Inter Allies. All those stories you can find in the Finder newspaper.
All right, we go to the Daily Statesman, and on the front page, Scholarship Secretariat commences interview for 140,642 applicants. The story is on page 4. Maybe let me just quickly go to that. Okay, so the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat is scheduled to commence its nationwide selection interviews for the 2021-2022 academic year starting from August 23, according to the Registrar of Scholarships, Mr. Kinsley Ajimang. He made this disclosure yesterday at a media briefing in Accra, where he stated that the selection interviews will be held across all 260 MMDAs in the country with strict adherence to the COVID-19 safety protocols. So if you're interested and you have applied actually, then you should be ready for your interview. And then fixing Ghana is our collective duty. That's Chira Chief telling Ghanaians. And IGP introduces horse patrol operations, which story we've seen in the other newspapers. And Ghana Health Service to begin offering Johnson & Johnson vaccine shots today. So let's get to that story. And it's on page 3. It says the Ghana Health Service is expected to begin giving out jabs of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine in the Greater Accra region today, August 13, 2021. Vaccine shots in other coronavirus hotspots, such as the Ashanti region, will begin next Monday, August 16. We're hopeful that at least the Greater Accra region will start vaccination on Friday. Kumasi will be traveling today, so it will not be realistic for Ashanti to start tomorrow. Hopefully by Monday, they should also be able to start. The manager of Ghana's expanded program on immunization, Dr. Kwame Amponsah-Chano, said the vaccine shots will be going out in 11 districts, 7 in the Greater Accra region and 4 in the Greater Kumasi Metro. All right, so that's some good news. For those of you who have been waiting for a while now and wondering when the vaccines, the Johnson & Johnson vaccines will become available, so now we know it should be starting today, according to a story we have in the Daily Statesman. Motorway expansion contract not fully awarded yet. That's the Roads Ministry to the minority. So the minority, I told you about the news conference they had. It was captured in the newspaper, I think, yesterday, where they were saying that they wanted that contract abrogated. But the Roads Ministry says that it has not been awarded yet. So the Ministry of, let me read a bit. The Ministry of Roads and Highways has asked Ghanaians to ignore claims by the minority in Parliament that the ministry failed to follow due process in the award of the Accra Motorway expansion contracts. And it goes on addressing the media on Wednesday, ranking member, so that was a claim, but then the response is that in a media interview, the public relations officer of the Roads Ministry, Nasser Ahmadiate, said the government had not yet signed any contract to that effect. And, quote, "We are not going to commence any project for now. When we are ready with a financial contract, it will first go through Parliament for approval. The ministry is a very responsible one and will do everything according to the law," he assured. All right, so that's right. Akufo-Addo appoints Kofi Jamesi as CEO of We Power Authority. And we have 2 new centers to support after established. Dr. Foriten Kran reappointed SNIT Director General. Licensed miners urged to practice responsible mining. And actually, that should be it, I think. Okay, Kim Kardashian, Kanye thought me to be more real. And Eminem ex-wife attempts suicide. And banning telenovelas would be hard to do. That's Ivan Kwashiga, famous film director.
Oh, telenovelas, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it for the Daily Statesman.
Okay, let me do the Daily Dispatch. A couple of, you know how a lot of people say couple of. I always say a couple of, and most of the time I mean a lot.
Yeah.
But a couple is actually two,
yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah. So what's the word for a lot of a
Several.
lot? Ah, there we go. Yeah. Several headlines. Doesn't sound as sexy as a couple of, but okay. The Daily Dispatch this morning: COVID-19 vaccine purchase wahala. Deputy Majority Leader confirms refund of $2.4 million by agents. UN experts describe Ghana's anti-LGBTQ+ as the bill as recipe for violence. Oh, that's interesting. I'll tell you about it when I get there. SNIT loses $11.9 million from liquidation of 3 investments. So the Auditor General released a report, I think it was 2 nights ago. And this issue of SNIT has come up. They are urging, the Auditor General is urging management to investigate the non-performance of the investments for all, to ensure value for money and ensure that officers whose action led to the loss are appropriately sanctioned for the loss. Despite the requirements of Section 90 of the Public Financial Management Act, the Auditor General said the trust has not received any returns in the form of value appreciation or dividend in its investments in 9 listed and 6 unlisted companies. So not sure what's going on at SNIT, especially since the Director General has been retained. It will be interesting to find out if he's going to try and fix it or how this happened under his watch. Anyways, okay, work stalls on 22-kilometer Dawa, Kolewa, and Yaboni quarters. That's the Asisewa Road. So they stopped work there. Eric Cyrus meets Professor Fred Bagon-Louis, an iconic engineer born in Ghana, made in America. All right, so the Daily Dispatch also has the middle page separate template thingy.
Okay.
So great stuff. I think it's really just the Daily Graphic and the Ghanaian Times, yeah. The NPP in the role of official opposition, 1996 to 2000. Which team is likely to win the English Premier League next year? Oh my God, that's a question. On the last page of the Daily Dispatch, facilitates the establishment of the Ghana College of Allied Health Professionals Radiographers Association to government. And that story about the LGBTQ plus bill also on the last page. So UN experts are shocked by the anti-LGBTQ plus bill before Ghana's parliament. And remember that this bill aims to make homosexuality an illegal practice in Ghana, but the experts are saying that this is a recipe for violence. The family values bill is something that's being spearheaded by some members of parliament, led by Sam George, and aims at making the practice illegal. So obviously, lots of divided opinions on that one, so I best not go into it. But hey, guess who joined us for the review this morning? The Daily Graphic.
Yep, the Daily Graphic finally landed. All right, so on the front page...
Israel, you don't have 11 minutes, though.
Okay, well noted.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Audit Service to construct 19 regional district offices. Deployment of single-dose vaccines expected Monday. So it's the same... Dr. Achiano, well, he's saying that, so the statement is saying it will begin today, but he's saying, in this story, he's saying latest Monday. So it's possible that it could.
But they quoted, both papers quoted. Yeah. Okay, so maybe, hopefully starting today, latest by Monday.
Yes.
It's like when you have a lunch date and you say, oh, I'll be there around 12:31. Yeah, so.
Okay, and its energy sector recovery program, government saves $5 billion in 2019. Okay. All right. Since I don't have all day, I will just move on before you come at me. And so Botswana gives houses to Olympic medal winners. You heard that story?
Oh, no, I haven't.
Yeah. Botswana has given each member of the country's Olympic bronze winning relay team a 2-bedroom house. The 4x400 team took Botswana's only podium spot at the just concluded Tokyo Games. So congratulations to them, and they're getting home. That's nice. Yeah. Ethiopia rebels form alliance against government. Then move on to... Okay, so there's a tribute to Kapim Kruntihini goes to the ancestors. So it's by Nana Kwesi Jana, a painting. And deployment of the single-dose vaccines expected Monday. So that story is on page 13. You can grab a copy of the Daily Graphic for that. Support government to fix the country. So the Chirahini is in virtually all the newspapers. He's saying that fixing the country is a collective endeavor. DVLA develops steering manual for truck drivers, work to retrieve artifacts, cultural treasures looted from Africa. That's Nana Kobna in Ketia. And no funding yet for Tema motorway projects. So that's the Deputy Minister. And it has to do with the same story with the contract being awarded and the Mayority demanding that it be abrogated. And they're saying, no, we haven't gotten there yet. We strengthen grassroots governance, Dan Buche assures. And Audit Service construct the 19 regional district offices. So that story is on page 20. Let's get to festival to inculcate travel culture. Okay, there's a pull-out, looks like a pull-out, lifestyle tours. In the Daily Graphic, you can grab that. And amend law to empower special planning authority. And on the back page, government absorbs 60% of housing mortgage interest. Okay, that's interesting. Says the government has absorbed 60% of the mortgage interest rate for public sector workers who acquire houses under the pilot National Mortgage Scheme. The scheme is being implemented under the National Home Ownership Fund, which is dedicated to financing the housing value chain. The version, according to Deputy Minister of Finance, Mr. John Kuma, had led to the reduction of mortgage rates from an average of 20% to between 10 and 12% by the participating banks. The banks include GCB Bank Limited, Stanbic Bank Ghana Limited, and Republic Bank Ghana Limited. That's interesting, and people should take advantage of it.
Yeah.
It's actually for public sector workers.
Yeah.
So that's a good deal. If you're having to pay mortgage rates of about 24% and they've slashed it to 10 and 12%.
That's very good.
Go for it. Go for it so that you wouldn't have issues with your
rent. Hashtag be like Israel. Shall we do some online stories now? Let's go to My Joy Online this morning. We only have about 3 minutes. Okay. So the main headline there, Sputnik V deal. President's reaction doesn't mean Ajiman Menu won't resign or be sacked. That's according to Martin Pebu.
Yeah, I guess he's just trying to be optimistic.
Optimistic, yeah. Optimistic about somebody being sacked, the irony. Ghana's inflation under control, that's according to Deputy Finance Minister. Deputy Majority Leader confirms receipt of $2.4 million refunded by Sheikh Al Maktoum. UTAG strikes. Substantive issues have not been touched. That's Bright Reko Brobe speaking there. Ghana records 7 more deaths in COVID-19 fight. Lighthouse Chapel International mounts defense against 6 former pastors. Final year student in court for causing harm to teacher. Man arrested for allegedly stabbing wife to death at Bibiani. Israel did that story. And there is consistent decline in the unemployment rate. That's according to John Kuma. Those are the stories, My Joy Online. If any of them piqued your interest, you could head on there. Okay, so I think that's it for our newspaper review this morning.
Yes, so we're taking a break, and then after we bring you sports. Stay tuned in.